Hi guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we will look into a scenario in which the region of the world, Southeast Asia, unites. Usually if we do unifications, it's empire videos, right? Not empire videos. Empires coming back to existence. But this time, well, it's an empire. It's kinda just a region uniting. Like when we did Europe ones with European regions, and Bougainville even is brought to Papua New Guinea's side. Although, would they fight for Papua New Guinea? They do get independence in a few years? Or would they just say, no, we want independence? I think that's what I heard. Could be wrong. And yeah. And yes. As Papua New Guinea realizes, what's the point in fighting? They just don't surrender. And Indonesia doesn't like how they have to hop through all the islands. Hey, that's what my strategy always was. I thought if I just hopped on all the smallest islands in Territorio, I wouldn't have a worry. And we're at 375 subscribers. I think this month, guys, we are going to hit our goal. That's impressive. But I don't think it will be a big goal before next month, where we want to be at probably 600 by hopefully, but I don't know if we will. So I hope you are liking these videos so far, as they now have expanded into Oceania and they keep the name Southeast Asia. And then they say, hey, islands in the Pacific that somehow Wild Mapper doesn't know the names of. Is that Fiji, guys? Somebody correct me in the comments. It's either Fiji or Micronesia. I'm not sure. As they march right down into Fiji. And yeah, Fiji dies. Wait, what? They annex Fiji and then Fiji sinks from global warming. Wait, what? Fine, that never happened. And them realizing their best bet is right now to keep China and India from partitioning them is to make them compete. Which they fuel it really well by saying, oh, China, want help? We can help you if you give us money. Hey, India, want help? We'll help you if you give us money. And they keep the competition going in hope that nothing bad will happen. When they invade Bangladesh, India's like, what has this world come to? And then Pakistan says, I'm joining. No, they don't join this war. Reference to 1971. Yep, exactly. That was when a lot of stuff happened. It was a Cold War. Might start an alternate future of the Cold War series because somebody recommended it. And yeah. As they declare war on a lot of Australia. And Australia is like, what? We're stronger than you, aren't we? With how do they get their navy there, you may be wondering? Well, they do this. Sometimes I don't do naval, like, fighting, but I think I'm going to do this. Where would they need their navy mobilized? How about this? I would say in all of this region, they would have their military mobilized. What about you guys? Just in case they need it. With them already at Australia's shores. Australia probably has their navy ready in the north, I would be willing to bet at this point. With the competing sides fighting over control of the waters. But Australia somehow didn't realize how strong Southeast Asia was, as this kind of happens. And well, yeah, Australia underestimated them. But then India and China realized what they need to do. They realize their best bet is to get the world on board to partitioning them, which they fail at. I wonder why they failed. Well, they failed mostly because they being invaded by Southeast Asia. And everybody sees this as horrible. But the US is somehow persuaded not to get involved, as they say, we won't give you any palm oil if you attack. And then the UK is told, really, you think you can invade us, paper tiger? And then the UK says no. And then AUKUS. And Australia's mad. Canada says we can help. So is New Zealand. But it's kind of too late. As they're moving along Australia's coast, they figure there's no need to go into the desert. And they figure they don't want to go to the Emu territory. And Australia's nuclear submarines are stolen. And well, yeah. The stealing of them, it's not good for Australia's purposes. With them heading to Canberra, the capital. Why would they do that? Because they can. What else do they want to head to? Well, Sydney. They want to head to, Melbourne. As they take Sydney, and then they quickly take Melbourne. And then the emus join their side. Wait, what? Really? Emu jokes? What has this world come to? Where emus want to join Southeast Asia. And well, they do well. As now they look like a llama. Until now. And yeah. And the emu somehow holding the front, but in reality, they probably aren't. Also, these lands, the only troops in it are, well, Southeast Asian. Same with here. Why do they fall so fast? Because you don't need many for that. Then they take Canberra, the capital, as Australia is forced to give up on its dreams. And well, Southeast Asia decides, we won't be greedy. Why won't they be greedy, you may be wondering? Because they just won't be. As they do this, they create the emus of state. Wait, what? They make themselves a territory to annex. And then they make Australia land. And then Australia's mad because emus can't rule a country. What has this world come to? That emus can finally rule countries. Wouldn't you guys agree? How is that even possible? I don't know. Did animals get super smart while I wasn't looking in this world? Fine, that's not a real world. If that was a real world, I don't think emus would have a country. And then Southeast Asia. Well, one bad thing happens. India and China get ready for a joint effort. Get rid of them. And Japan says, okay, we can work on this. But will we need naval fighting? Not really. Maybe, yes, we will. A bit, but we won't need a lot. I don't even know. As India and China gather for their offensive with Taiwan, South Korea, North Korea, and Japan. What has this world come to? That nations that make no sense to work together are working together? I don't even know. With Mongolia saying, oh, we're joining. And Sri Lanka. And somehow Pakistan joins. Yep, this doesn't make sense. Yep, that's pretty bad. And well, the first thing to happen is the fall of Bangladesh, which leads to a quick retreat by China. Not China, Southeast Asia. With China moving into two fronts. And well, Japan uses its navy, so a bit of naval preparations is... As they hear of a potential for an invasion of this area, they gather their navy and make sure to be able to have all of this land under protection. Everywhere else there's naval vessels, but this is where they're, like, say, the most prevalent, or where there's possible naval fighting, or where it's fully mobilized and ready for action. Because there can be boats just cruising through the ocean. Yeah. This is what's mostly there, because think of it. It's hard to reference every single little boat. And Japan launches a huge naval attack onto the Philippines. They get fuel at South Korea. South Korean vessels join. And there. They go down here. China starts sending vessels to Taiwan. Because Taiwan joined their side. Explain that to me. How do they team up? I don't even know. With Chinese vessels reaching there. Quickly followed by Korean and Japanese vessels, which quickly leads to the fall of this. With Japan being fully ready, they manage to get deeper than they expect into these naval pockets. And they manage to take back the Philippines, and they move towards the northern part of Borneo. And that's being a big crisis for Southeast Asia, but they can't even move into Vietnam for some reason. And then they dive into Laos and Thailand. With them thinking this may be defeat as inevitable after this falls, the Philippines. But Japan's navy suffered such huge losses trying to take this island that they're no longer able to hold this front. And so did the Chinese vessels, and the Korean vessels, and the Taiwanese vessels. And well, they do that. And Japan is like, oops. As a few nations start waving their white flags, including South Korea and Japan, which don't want to fight anymore. Which is just like, what? Taiwan decides the smart choice. Mongolia, South Korea, and Sri Lanka just walk out and say, no, we don't want to fight. Pakistan leaves. And China just blames their allies for this. To which Southeast Asia sends a message just saying, well, is it their fault, or is it that you guys are a bunch of weaklings? And while many nations, as you can expect, if you got called a weakling by another nation, you'd probably be angry, as China does nothing. They say they will nuke if one more insult like that happens, but Southeast Asia, Thailand region's leader and Vietnam's leaders laugh, saying that, how come they can't invade us? We're not even as strong as these two combined. I thought they were superpowers. China says, I'm going to nuke you the next time you do it. And they say, okay, fine. But if we take India out of war, you are weak. And China's like, that will never happen. To which, yeah, I guess the governments don't want to agree with us. And while they flood into India, they flood into China, they flood so far into India, nobody's even saw it coming. As they then realize, a lot of India's people didn't want to fight this. And while the invasion of China goes so well, that many of Southeast Asia's generals are actually shocked. With China deciding we surrender after the People's Party was overthrown. Yep, exactly. And so the get their empire strong, but then the world watches as they just do this. Annex of Sri Lanka, annexation of Taiwan. And everybody's like, what? This looks like Imperial Southeast Asia. And then they stop expanding because they need to build up again. Because they wasted so many resources. They're just hoping nobody invades them right now. But they do have over 1 billion people, I bet. Because that part of China they took, really populous. This island, really populous. This island, I think, has... No, I'm not going to say anything about that. And then this area is very populous. You want to see where there's a lot of people? An area of the world that has a lot of people. I think this area is a really populous area. And yeah. That is very populous, guys. One of the most densely populated areas. Probably not. But a very densely populated area with, I think, over 1 billion people live in this circle. Over 3 billion, actually, in fact. Now, that's interesting. Also, Southeast Asia does have, like, treaties between each other in our world, I believe. And so, I hope you're enjoying these videos. as they make me happy to see that you guys are liking and subscribing. It's really great. And thank you for liking and subscribing, as it's pretty good. So if you wouldn't mind, please like, subscribe, comment. And that's all for today's video. Wild Mapper out.